What is up, Grunge Bible music community? We are back for another episode 49 of the Grunge Bible podcast. My name is Ethan Shalloway, and I'm here alongside the wonderful Chris Salona. And Chris, I got a simple question. How the fuck we doing today, man?
Oh, man, how the fuck are we doing? Well, it's episode 49, so that's good. Honestly, man, not that great. I have been in a little bit of a funk like the last 7 to 10 days.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know, man. Like the winter definitely. It's a long winter. It's a long December, as they say.
It's February, man. We hate.
Yeah,
February.
man.
That's what it comes down to.
It's the worst month. We fucking hate this month. And yeah, the winter and the cold and the dark. It's just a drag at this point. So this happens to me every single winter around this time. I just kind of get a little weary of it, but you know, doing what I can to raise the spirits and keep well around these times, and that's all you can do.
So when you're feeling that way, and especially this time of year, what are your go-tos to kind of, you know, kick that can and get out of the slump? Do you have any?
Oh man,
do you have anything that you like? What's the best solution? Is it listening to music? Is it lighting a candle?
No, not either of those really. Music sometimes doesn't really help. I need a couple of things.
Makes it worse.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it gets me through a hard time by making it worse. No, I would say I have the tendency when I just kind of feel like shit just to kind of shut down a little bit and like not do the things that I would normally do in terms of seeing people. So just like sometimes just to give myself a kick in the pants to get out there and try to conduct myself as normal with seeing routine. People and everything, because that fills up your cup, and when the cup's empty, you gotta, you can't really fill it up yourself. So just to spend time with friends and family, try to get outside, just try to take care of myself, sleep enough, and just all of those things, and also just to objectively look at the calendar and realize that the better days are coming, and it's going to start to get warmer and brighter. And yeah, that's always had a really big impact on me, just the weather and everything, especially as I've gotten older and the cold. But yeah, we're hanging in there.
Yeah. I think routine is always something that helps me when I'm feeling a little down. Getting back to just making sure that I'm doing the things I like, which is getting a good cup of coffee in the morning, hitting the gym, and with a nice little routine. Not getting lost in the sauce, as they say, and kind of have everything kind of run together. It's fun. It's good to just kind of be a little more scheduled during those times.
Totally.
Just helps. And it kind of fights off. It'll fight off the when it gets dark super early, I feel.
Yes. Yeah, I would agree with that. It's also helped me just to be honest when people ask me for a long time.
100%.
They're like, how you doing? Like, oh, I'm great. But like, no, man, I'm not great. But it helps because I think when you acknowledge it, you can deal with it appropriately. So that's what we're doing around these parts.
Well, yeah, and then the other thing I was going to say is honestly just that, because it leads to conversations, and good conversations can do a lot. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Well,
awesome.
Ethan Shalloway, how are you doing?
Chris, I'm doing well.
That's awesome.
I just finished up a week in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, and it was jam packed, super busy. I got home, I missed the first half of the Super Bowl, and I was just exhausted, man. I mean, it was long days that, burned the candle at both ends. We kind of went late, preparation. So we had a great javelin clinic, but it just took everything out of me, but in such a good way, and it left me refreshed. So it's good. It's really nice to be back and getting into the swing of things a little bit, but I'm in a good spot. I'm just, I'm ready to take the next step in a few different things. So it's good. It's fun.
That's fantastic. I love hearing that. Yeah, it looked like you had a great weekend. So for the listeners, Ethan, you are, I know you probably wouldn't say this yourself, but you're quite an accomplished javelin thrower, and you were there over the weekend conducting a clinic with several preeminent throwers in the United States, and also you had a special guest from across the pond. Is that correct?
Yeah, we basically flew in Thomas Roller. He's a German javelin thrower who he was a 2016 Olympic champion and has the Olympic record, so he's thrown the farthest in any Olympics.
That's a big deal.
That's pretty sick. And it's like that throw could have won any of the Olympics that he would have competed at. And he's actually third or fourth all time with the new rules. I think he's third. And it was so special. He is an incredible human, very, very intelligent, and just being around somebody at the top, at the pinnacle of your sport, and seeing the way they conduct themselves and how they comment was really really awesome. And we have an Instagram page for our group, the USA Jab Project, and he kind of talked about that from a distance, which was really cool. It's kind of like when people talk about Grunge Bible from a distance, we're just, we just shoot the shit and me and you talk about it all the time. But then when somebody from the outside comes and kind of lets you know what it looks like and, how the whole thing is coming together and where the impact is falling, it's really special. So I kind of got that with the group that we have here, which is really satisfying because I moved here 3 years ago to kind of create this group, and it's making an impact on a bunch of levels, like regionally, nationally, and then internationally. And I was like, hell yeah! I was like, hell yeah, man.
It was basically like the grunge rock equivalent of doing a drumming clinic with Matt Cameron for a weekend. Basically, I mean the preeminent person of their field. To go in and make those connections. But yeah, you're totally right. Yeah. I think a lot of times when we're doing things and working on projects, no matter what they are, you never really realize the people that it might impact. And I know we feel similarly with this page and the show and everything. And it's like we're continually surprised by the reaches that it has. And it's a great opportunity. I think anytime you have the chance to do that, you got to jump at it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's special when people tell you how impactful it is. And it's a good segue, and we got a lot of patrons, a lot of people that decided to support us, that we've left an impact on them, and they feel strong enough that they can help hold up the world of Grunge Bible.
The Atlas Stone that is Grunge Bible. Yeah, so we have to, we're not going to apologize for it, but we were a little upset last week that we weren't able to ring the bell, and I guess people finally they gave in, or they just didn't want us to berate them again on this episode. But we had
they didn't want to kill us,
new individuals join the Patreon. Yeah, they wanted exactly.
They didn't want to kill us, so they just got on board.
The fuck up, gave their money. So we have two new members at the $2 level, and we have leading off that lineup. We have Words and Music Studio. So they commented on our last YouTube video and basically said, you know what, I'm tired of it. Fine, I'll buy the shitty cup of coffee. So this one's coming lukewarm over to you. And additionally, we have another member of the $2 level, and they have submitted themselves to the Patreon ranks as Nikki Six. And I know we spoke at length about how much we abhor Nikki Six on last week's episode, but I guess if Nikki Six is giving us $2 a month, I hate him a little less.
Yeah. Now this is great.
I still hate him.
This is what I'm talking about. This is the topical names that I need to see. Like, I want you, take what we're doing on the page for the week. If you want to become a patron and jump on that, dude, Nikki, that's hilarious.
That's
because
great.
We got a little fired up about the Nikki Six Eddie Vedder discussion, and
we sure did.
I'm happy that they did that. It's funny. That stuff is funny to me. So.
I totally agree. And then additionally, we have two new members at the $10 top tier level, and those individuals are Kara K. So we would like to thank you, Kara. And additionally, Ethan, we had Jerry Seinfeld join the ranks. I don't know if this is the real Jerry or the fake Jerry, but he's here and he's contributing.
And I don't think there's any way to confirm or deny that. No. It's not really the real Jerry Seinfeld or the Nikki Six, I mean,
yeah.
We had the real Billy Corgan, and obviously that was actually him, but
we did something to piss him off, and he decided to jump ship as he often does. But that's that's the way it goes. So we have two new members of that top tier, awesome. And they join our ever growing legion of top tier supporters, and they are Laura Nyreen, Marianne, Sunny Mashburn, Sue, Shannon Gorgone, our number one fan from Australia, Kayla Jean, Jamie Lynn, Fuck Soup, What the Fuck's Up Denny's, Rachel Corning, Millie, Alexis Shannon, Wayne Staley, Doug Endy, Release, Victor Schaefer, Jade Mercado, and the Blue Owl.
Whew, what a list.
That's a mouthful. That's good stuff though. It takes me longer each week to read that list off, which is just pretty cool.
Yeah, that one was I could feel it there. I felt I felt the duration. It was long.
Yeah, I had to take a couple of breaths. It's always how you have to approach with the strategy. I mean, how many names you're going to reel off before you inhale a little bit and get some more oxygen in you. But that's taken a while, but that's good. That makes me really happy, and it's always humbling to read that list every week and to get those notifications that people are deciding to support us, because we're almost a year in, and we wouldn't have gotten here if it wasn't for that support.
Mm-hmm. It's amazing.
It's
so what
amazing.
do we have to offer up for the Patreons this week?
Well, Ethan, for a little clarity, we are recording this for all the listeners out there. We are recording this on Tuesday, February 15th. This podcast will be coming out towards the end of this week. And yesterday was Valentine's Day, and we fucking hate Valentine's Day, right?
We do. We talked about it in the last podcast, and I saw someone posted about it and said the holiday is fake, but the love is real, and I like that.
Okay, I like that.
Yeah, that's kind of cool. So the holiday is fake, but I understand that the love is real for everybody out there. So that's kind of how we view it.
Yeah, I would totally agree. So we dropped that episode last week in advance of the Valentine's Day holiday, and we had a comment on YouTube from an individual under the channel Ace Guitar Covers, and they suggested that we do an episode on our top or favorite grunge love songs. So that's what we're going to do. We like to make a habit of listening to the suggestions that we get, good or bad. We'll do just about anything here. And that's one of the good ones. That's a great suggestion. And Ethan and I, we took some time to compile some of our notable grunge love songs. Now, for some kind of more clarity on this as well, I took that meaning rather liberally, in the sense that anything kind of discussing love, as far as I'm concerned, is a love song. Whether it's unrequited love, whether it's feeling love, whether it's the absence of love. I mean, it's all talking about love. So,
Well, that was my first question, Chris. I was going to say, what is a love song?
Anything can be a love song, can't it?
I mean, is it about two people that are together in love, or is it when somebody leaves you? Like I was doing some thinking about it.
Yeah.
And could it just be a song that reminds you of somebody that has nothing to do with love? But if it reminds you of somebody in your relationship, I mean, could that be a love song?
Well, like case in point is She Fucking Hates Me by Puddle of Mud. Is that a love song? I think it is. I think you're right. Anything that anything that reminds you of somebody who you love or used to love, I think could be considered to be a love song. It's not a simple question to answer.
Example.
It's like what's grunge? I mean, how do we know?
Yeah.
But we do know because it's only Mudhoney. So
yeah, I would say easy answer there. But
yeah, it's an easy answer. That was a shitty comparison. I'm off my game today.
Well, what are you gonna do? It's like somebody that I used to know by what the heck is that
whoever
band?
that is. That song was inescapable
Go
10 years ago. Oh,
yeah, that was the only song that they have. But now they're just somebody that we used to know.
Yeah.
It's literally them.
What do you think? Because I definitely agree that, or I feel as though that it can be pretty much anything that makes you think of those scenarios or those situations in your life. So I definitely have a fairly broad definition of what a love song is. Anything that discusses that realm. What about you? What do you think? Are you a hard and fast, this is what it is and everything else isn't, or where are we coming from?
I was thinking about it. I think the main thing that I was going to say, the main thing for me is that if it makes me like think of a specific person immediately, like if it can get me feeling some type of way about a past relationship, which is probably the case, or if if you're in the relationship, maybe if it makes you think about the current relationship. But I think that is the main thing for me. If you start comparing and kind of going parallel trains with the song and the lyrics, then that's going to be really important. And I think the songs that we picked, some of them are, a lot of them are going to be, I don't know, acoustic, pretty like softer stuff, and maybe something that makes you feel. And I think that's important too. I think the structure, like, obviously goes into it. Into everything. I don't know, man. I was just thinking about all of Taylor Swift's songs, love songs.
They're all love songs, exactly.
Yeah, you can't get away from it. So I don't know. I think that's why we're gonna have this conversation. We'll see what songs we picked, and we'll see at the end of it. Maybe we have a better definition of what a love song is. But I'm sure that it's going to go, like, is it something that you, like, that these people wrote to sing to another person, like face to face? Like, they need to be right there to be a love song if you sing it to them.
Who knows?
Let's see.
Let's get into it. So I have a few that I would like to run through. So I think we're gonna run through some that I have some notes written on, and then I'll throw the ball back over the net over to you. But the first song that comes to mind is not one of the more popular songs from this band, but it's one that I've always been really, really fond of for the lyrical content and certainly the way that it sounds, and that is from the Stone Temple Pilots, Still Remains. So that was off of the Purple album, and it's just a really powerful song. It's definitely, I would categorize it in the traditional sense of what a love song is, in the sense that it kind of discusses your feelings towards somebody that you're feeling at that moment, and the chorus is absolutely great. It's got the lyrics: if you should die before me, ask if you can bring a friend, pick a flower, hold your breath and drift away. And it's also, take a bath, I'll drink the water that you leave. I mean, it's very lyrical and metaphorical, I would hope, but I mean, it's just a great song. And it's also one of my favorite lines from Scott, drink the wine, save the water. And I definitely think this song got a lot of play at the time of Scott's passing, I remember, because of that line, if you should die before me. But it's just a really, really great song. And I've always appreciated it. I've appreciated the guitar work there. And I mean, all of the instrumentation. Stone Temple Pilots are definitely a band that, similar, I would say, to Soundgarden, where people focus so much on the lead singer and the front man that you forget about how good of musicians the DeLeo brothers and Eric Kretz were, and still are to this day. But it's a really, really great song. It's it's well produced, and it's always been a favorite of mine, and it came to mind immediately when we had this discussion.
Yeah, I think that is important to bring up the overall, I guess, vibe of the song and kind of the atmosphere it creates. It's not like, it's not acoustic, obviously, and it's not like super heavy. It just has that really warm feeling to it. I put it on earlier, and it just kind of, it's very comforting, and it makes it comes off very sincere in the way that I listen to it. And like when you read those lyrics, like I can just picture, Scott, saying them and meaning them, and obviously we hear it in his voice, and it just seems so, it's very compelled, and I think that's really important with these songs that we're going to talk about. I think the way that these singers kind of deliver and the way that they sing the lyrics, because there's emotions in lyrics, and there's emotions in the way that people sing, and that's kind of what love is. Love has a lot to do with words and being, and those lyrics that you brought up are really, they really are awesome. Pick a flower, hold your breath and drift away. I do like that quite a lot.
It's heavy stuff. I would expect nothing less from Scott Weiland, though, certainly. Yeah,
his lyrical ability is right up there. We've talked about that.
Yeah, we certainly have. The next one that I have, it wouldn't be a list coming from myself without some inclusion of the great Mark Lanigan here. So we're going to turn to Mark Lanigan. And I would say about 2 years ago, right at the beginning of the pandemic, my life kind of got turned upside down, and it did feature a breakup. And Mark Lanigan's music at the time, I was reading his memoir, Sing Backwards and Weep, and I was just devouring all of his material. And in 2002, he released, or he recorded rather, an album called the Houston Publishing Demos. So basically at the time he was in a bunch of debt, and this publishing studio and this individual offered to pay his debt in exchange for a recording contract. And the song that I'm about to discuss stems from those demos, and they were recorded in 2002, around the time actually that Lane Staley had passed away, believe it or not. But the song is called A Suite for Dying Love, and it's like a 5-minute long song, and Mark only sings for the first minute and a half or 2 minutes, and then it's just this great instrumentation for the last 3 minutes or so. It's just really expansive, and it just sounds like a great bookending song. So we had Still Remains, which is when you're in the relationship, and then you have Sweet for Dying Love by Lanigan at the end of the relationship, you know, when you're kind of coming down from it all, and it's got great lyrics here. You know, the last portion of the song says, "I wanted to say goodbye before my train rolled out. I went walking away with a mouthful of rain. Got to get back and see my friends again. I'm just a little ashamed they got to see me this way." And I think that's definitely relatable. Anytime you go through a hard time, there's always a little bit of shame, I guess, that, you know, your pride, you don't want people to see you in that rough condition. You don't like the concept that somebody else or a situation you were in has affected you that much. But, you know, you have those lyrics, and then just the outro of the song is really great. And it's a song that I listened to a lot, like I said, when I was going through some things at that time. And it's just a great song about leaving something, and kind of communicates that feeling that, you know, I'm not all right now, but in time I will be. That's kind of what that instrumental outro communicates to me, and it's always been one of my favorite songs from the point that I heard it initially.
Yeah, that lyric was one that I was going to point out. The got to get back and see my friends again. Just a little ashamed they got to see me this way, and because it's exactly. And we always talk about how everybody is so good at giving advice, or is good at giving relationship advice until they're in the relationship and they need to take their own advice.
Yep.
And it's like, and so you go through this time where you're like, I can make it work, and usually lasts like 3 months past, or like 2 months past, when you should be out of the relationship. And then once you get out of it, you realize, like, oh my gosh, how did I linger so long? And yeah, you do feel a little bit of like shame and guilt, and you know, it's hard to look in the mirror and make the right decision when you're in love. But I think, and I do think, when I was listening to it, you know, Mark's voice and his tenor is like, just.
I mean, he could sing the phone book and it would sound as heavy as this song sounds.
Yeah, exactly.
He just got that voice.
Yeah, it is such a, like a, what's the word I'm looking for? Yeah, like a climax. Yeah, it's like a climax to the relationship where a decision needs to be made, and you can see it's like an ultimatum, I guess.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's good. I really like this one. This is a good choice.
Yeah, and it's also a weird commentary. I think we all have experiences with this, whether we did it or we had friends that did it. But when you enter into a relationship, whether you like it or not, I think there's always some degree of usurping your friends a little bit, because you only have a finite amount of time. And then when a romantic interest enters your life, you know, that time has to come from something. And oftentimes you end up hanging out with your friends a little less. It's just kind of a good commentary on, you know, when shit hits the fan and things go wrong in the romantic life with a significant other, the friends are always there, and the good friends are always there to welcome you back, even if you realize that you made a mistake and you realize that you might have maybe let some of those friendships lapse, and, you know, you might be a little ashamed that they have to see you that way, or maybe a little ashamed that you made that mistake to lessen their presence in your life. But I think if we all have good friends, which I know I'm grateful that I have good friends, you being chiefly among that group, they're there for you no matter what, no matter the decisions that you make. They're there, and you might feel ashamed, but when you get back in touch with them, there's nothing to be ashamed about.
Yep, because we've all made those.
We've all
decisions.
been there.
Yeah, we've all been there. It's a carousel of whose turn it is to do that.
Exactly. We all pay our dues.
Yeah, we all pay our debt sometime. Yeah. I think to kind of move into the next phase of the the relationship and the breakup, it's when you kind of, you know, you've out of the relationship, enough time has passed, and then, you know, you either usually you see them kind of move on and get into another relationship. And I believe that the song "Sun Shower" by Chris Cornell is a great analogy for this one. Yeah. Where it hurts, it stings, but there's, it's like when it's raining while it's light out. It's still raining, but there's some light. And Cornell, he says he has a lot of great lyrics, and I think it's just about, you know, being okay. It hurts to see somebody move on, but you have to be okay with it, and you have to move on. And this is the beginning stanza. It says, "Dark as roses and fine as sand, I feel your healing and your sting again. I hear you laughing and my soul is saved. On forgotten graves you cry."
Wow.
Yeah, and I like the "On Forgotten Graves You Cry," and I was thinking about that, and I think like that has a lot to do with, say your relationship and what has passed away, and like, yeah, you cry on those graves, but it's something that, it's left your mind as well. Like you don't really see it as like the present, so it's
Definitely.
past. And it's just it's such a good song.
It really
he
is.
obviously has that voice that makes you feel so emotional. And it has a great,
and that chorus in that song is something, when you're all in pain and you feel the rain come down, it's all right. Yeah. And that song, the theme that exists, I think is something that's so important to remember, because I think a lot of times we deal with situations in terms of their absolute qualities, in the sense that it's either dark or light, or there's either happiness or sadness. But I mean, the concept of a sun shower in this song, those two things can be coexisting at the same time. And how do you reconcile one with the other? And which one do you decide to focus on? But I think it's a good reminder that you have to focus on both of them and experience both of them in order to grow and learn from those things. And this song, believe it or not, when Chris passed away in 2017, as soon as I got the news, this was the first Chris Cornell song that I listened to once I heard the news. And I had known the song, but I mean, it just floored me at the time. And
I get chills.
So I associate it with
right
that.
now.
But I mean, it's just the concepts that are explored in this song, I think, are so important, especially like we're talking about here in the context of a relationship and the healing and everything like that.
Yeah, and it ends with kind of the same instrumentation as they're talking about with Lanigan. But he says, "I know all your graces someday will flower in a sweet, sweet sun shower." And I don't know. I'm like, I've always been so fascinated with the idea of it's sunny out, but it still is drizzling. It's one of my favorite moments.
Doesn't make sense.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense, and it definitely pulls out some type of feeling in you. Like it's, I don't know. It's always very special, but yeah, this song is really good. I do remember listening to it because it came off of his album in it was like only like 10 years ago. I think it was like his acoustic album, correct?
Yeah, I think so. I think it came out sometime in the mid 2000s or something. I can't remember. I think it was
and
a
that
bonus
was
track
such
or something.
Such a good, Higher Truth. It was such a good, such a great album, and this song is golden.
Yeah, I just love that concept. I love all your graces someday will flower. You don't know when, and it might not be soon, but it's going to come eventually. And I think that relates to that concept of no matter what happens in this realm, someday you're going to be okay, even if you don't feel like it, and you don't feel like it at the time.
Oh. Yeah, and if you guys, go back and just read. I mean, we could pull out any of these stanzas, and you'd be able to. We could like open it up. There's a lot of good
some value.
Yeah, there's a lot of really cool stuff. So I take a look at those lyrics, and when you listen to it next, and just see how it makes you feel. It's great. It's a good song.
There's this is not one of my songs, but if we're in the ballpark of Chris Cornell, I definitely need to mention the song "Can't Change Me," and it's a really, really great song. And I think on the Songbook Live album, he explained the background to it, where he's like, you're in a relationship and you try to be a better person for somebody and change for them and be what they want you to be, and then you get to this point and you realize, fuck it, I'm me, and you just continue down your path. And that kind of leads into the song that I want to talk about next, because I think at some point, whether it's during or afterwards, you definitely do that sort of self-analysis. I think after you get to the point that you blame the other person, or you have ill will towards the other person, you kind of look inward. And the song I want to talk about for this is "Heaven Beside You" by Alison Chains. And Jerry Cantrell wrote this song about a girlfriend of his from that time. And we all know the song very well. I think it's definitely a notable song, but it's something that he said when he was asked about the song that I think is a really, really impressive example of self-analysis and just kind of understanding how hard I think it is for people to change who they are, even for another person, no matter how much they love that person. And he was asked about this song, "Heaven Beside You," and he said that the song was another attempt to reconcile the fact that my life and paths are tearing me apart from the person I love. All the things I write about her are a way for me to maybe speak to her, express things I could never express. I still love her, but I'm too much of a fucking wolf. Kill, attack, and move on. It's so tough when you're so used to being hard. You can't tell an oak to be a pine. And that line at the end, I know I've posted on the page before, you can't tell an oak to be a pine. I think especially in love and relationships, I think we place a little bit too much stock on people's ability to change, especially as you get older. Not to say that it's impossible, but there's just some things that are very difficult to change. And I think you have to be self-aware of the things that you're not good at and be honest about them. And this song always reminds me of that. And whenever I hear that song, I think of that phrase, you can't tell an oak to be a pine.
And it's definitely takes me to conversations we've had. And one of the more, I guess, insightful pieces of advice that we have talked about is sometimes, you're just not compatible and it's not working. Like we've all been in relationships where like maybe it's not working. You're trying to figure out why or like who is at fault. And it doesn't have to be that. Like
the reason, it's not always going to be a cinematic reason. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I mean, honeybees can't get, honey from pine trees. You know what I mean? Like,
exactly.
They don't go together. So sometimes, you're trying to make it work and it's not compatible. It's not. And like I said, you can't tell an oak to be a pine. I'm thinking that's pretty much it. Like we can't fool ourselves here. I mean, we can't change
some people just can't go together.
Yeah. I mean, of course, like in a good relationship, there is plenty of give and take and there is growth together. But, in the same breath, there is some fundamental things that, you're not going to be able to change easily. There's going to be a lot of heartbreak involved and then it's not worth it.
Right. No, I totally agree. And I know we've had that conversation a few times at different points. And I think our instinct when something like that happens and people pull away from one another or somebody pulls away from you or you pull away from them, the other person who's being pulled away from is always looking for that grand reason as to why it's not working or something must have happened. But yeah, I think it was you who told me that at one point. And sometimes there's no reason. It's just that it's not something that's going to work and it's just not going to work. And that's sometimes all the reason that you need.
Yeah, I know. It's funny. Like we're talking about it, and it's like we want to have more of we want to have like a better explanation.
Sometimes
but
there's nothing else to mention. There's nothing else to say. That's it.
That's exactly the point. It's just like sometimes it doesn't work.
Yeah, and I always go back and forth on how valid or invalid of an explanation that is. Where it's like, I'm not interested in this anymore. Well, why not? I don't know. I'm just not. I just know. And obviously that's probably not going to cut it because the other person's invested. But sometimes I think that's just the truth.
Yeah.
It's hard.
Yeah.
Reminds me of another Jerry Cantrell quote that he said in an interview about Heaven Beside You. He said, "Life's a tough gig," and he could not be more correct. I think life is a tough gig, and relationships are a tough gig.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
It's not easy.
It's not easy. So this takes us to the next another
side.
Another side, another point of the relationship. And this isn't quite the in the grunge era, but it's a little bit later. But I'm gonna bring up "Lips of an Angel" by Hinder.
Oh yeah. And anybody who's our age, mid-20s, you know this song. Yeah,
this song, I guess it came out in 2005. Everybody knows the Extreme Behavior album.
Oh yeah.
And so you know what I'm talking about. And I mean, just the beginning of the lyrics, the first couple lines is, "Honey, why are you calling me so late? It's kind of hard to talk right now. Honey, why are you crying? Is everything okay? I got to whisper because I can't be too loud." And so this song is about, when my girl's in the back room and, you're in a relationship, but really you're stuck on that person from before and what the kind of trouble, both physically but emotionally, and how you could be emotionally cheating and talking, and there's so much that goes into it. But honestly, Chris, I just wanted to bring this up because if we're talking love songs, I mean, this is like the first one that came up in my head when I was younger, like, and I was feeling, I was talking to some girls or things weren't going out and I needed to feel, I needed to make a bad time worse. I put this song on and I could, Mr. Hinder has a great voice to take me to that point.
That pre-chorus of "I guess we never really moved on" is burned into my skull because this came out around the time I must have been, I don't know, 5th, 6th, 7th grade. So I think that's around the point where you first become interested in dating and relationships. And the first time you get burned, you go to some Hinder to feel better. But I mean, it's got all the makings of a classic in the sense of subject matter, classic relationship song.
I mean, I don't want to like, read too many lyrics, but I'm looking at these and it's just like,
let's do it.
Yeah, I'm going to read the last bit. It says, "It's really good to hear your voice saying my name. It sounds so sweet. Coming from the lips of an angel, hearing those words, it makes me weak. And I never want to say goodbye, but girl, you make it hard to be faithful with the lips of an angel. And I never want to say goodbye, but girl, you make it hard to be faithful." And then it just ends with, "Honey, why you calling me so late?" We've all had those phone calls where it's just, it's kind of hard to talk. It's hard to talk right now. It's late. Man.
I also think it's a testament how hard it is sometimes to make a clean break. I mean, how many times have you had something get broken off and either you linger in their inbox for a while, you're both doing it, and it always makes it worse. And it's so funny because there was a point in our lives, Ethan, where we were on parallel trains in the sense that, something had just ended for the both of us and we were both telling the other person not to linger while all the while we were lingering for weeks. And it doesn't help. It doesn't help.
No, that I'm thinking about the Cranberries song "Linger." That's a way of doing it. Do you have to?
Do you have to let it linger? I'm in so deep. That's the thing, though, man. Sometimes you get in deep and it's hard. Then you end up calling them so late. But oh man, that's such a great song. I always have a soft spot for a lot of the music of that era that didn't necessarily get a lot of critical acclaim. There's another band at the time called Saving Abel. They had a song called 18 Days, which was another kind of me in 7th grade suffering my first heartbreak that I always associate with that Hinder song that you just said. But oh man, the nostalgia is pouring in.
Oh yeah, and then we have another one. But actually, it's so funny just because I just pulled up the lyrics to "Linger" by the Cranberries.
Yeah.
And that's a great one. That's one of my favorite songs by them, obviously. And it's like the same thing, I'm in so deep, I'm such a fool for you. You got me wrapped around your finger. Do you have to let it linger? A lot of people play those games, Chris.
That's the problem.
You can't play
You can't play the games, but it's so hard, and it stinks because I think you're objectively aware of things when they're not good for you in terms of relationships or breaking up or whatever, but it's so hard to not do them. It's the psychological tricks that you play on yourself are unlike anything else, I think, and that's a great song as a commentary on that.
Yeah, it comes down to people are selfish, and whether it's subconsciously or conscious, it just happens, and it lingers for whatever reason, and
everybody likes attention.
Yeah.
Whether I mean, I certainly do. I think we all do, whether we admit it or not. And unfortunately, I think that comes into play, and we end up being able to hurt people more than we should. And that's always a troublesome scenario. But Ethan, do you have another song you'd like to share?
I do, and this one's going to bring it all back, because if you want a relationship that's going to work, it comes down to this final song, and it's a testament. I mean, the best relationships are the ones that have both sides working hard, and in the words of Scott Stapp, it's my sacrifice that makes this work. So I'm bringing up "My Sacrifice" by Creed. This is just an absolute banger, puts you in your emotions, where do we begin? We could bring from the top. I almost want to read right down.
A reading from the book of Stapp.
Yeah. What are your first reactions to hearing, "My Sacrifice"?
I just love the beginning where I think he opens it with "Hello, my friend, we meet again." It's fantastic.
It's been a while. Where should we begin? Feels like forever within my heart of memories. Oh,
it's just gosh. You're right. I mean, people bag on it, and we've spoken ad nauseum about Creed on this platform as well as other platforms that we have. But I mean, that chorus, when you're with me, I'm free, I'm careless, I believe. Above all the others will fly. This brings tears to my eyes. My sacrifice. I mean, that is the textbook example when you're with somebody and it's right, you believe, you're careless, and you're flying high.
'Cause when you are with me,
it's so good, and just the guitar work is great. This song is important.
This one, yeah. When you're with me, I am free. I'm careless, I believe. I love it. Oh, and his voice. I mean, I just picture him, singing this to a girl. Probably he's done this throughout his career many times.
Oh, absolutely. I would hope so. This song was nominated for a Grammy, Ethan, in 2003.
Wow, not many people can say that, Chris.
Not many people can say they're Grammy nominated. I sure as hell can't. So the Creed men, they have something over us.
Yeah, this is
a great song. This brings it all back. You're right.
Yeah, this brings it all back. This is true love. This is the love story of sacrifice.
Yeah, this is the fairy tale right here. That mutual admiration, that you do anything for the other person.
I'm just gonna go ahead and read the one verse. It says, "We've seen our share of ups and downs. Oh, how quickly life can turn around. In an instant, it feels so good to reunite within yourself and within your mind. Let's find peace there."
That's brilliant.
Yeah, it's good.
It's coming absolutely back. Brilliant.
It's making it work because the sacrifice.
Yeah, that is fantastic. Wow,
that's good. We went through like probably eight songs total of some great love songs.
Certainly, and if that's not enough, a couple of honorable mentions that I'm not going to discuss, but I would recommend that you check out. "Crushed" by the Smashing Pumpkins is a great one. Additionally, "Soul One" by Blind Melon kind of discusses that aftermath, and then perhaps one of my favorites that I don't know is always existing in the consciousness of the grunge rock fans is "I'm Still Here" by Pearl Jam. It's a spoken word track by that was released, I think, in some sort of serpentine route. It ended up on some Japanese promotional releases for the Lost Dogs record, but it's fantastic. You can find it on YouTube, and the lyrics it's just really great. It's just a great example of prose, really, and I don't even know where to begin in terms of getting into it, so I'm not gonna.
No,
I think you should check it out, lay down and close your eyes and listen to it. It's great.
Yeah, I remember you sending that to me and the first time and yeah, just listening to it and being kind of just out there, kind of lost thinking about it. I was like, holy cow, there's a lot.
I'm still here.
Yeah, maybe we make a Grunge Bible love song playlist for the people.
I think that's a brilliant idea.
We'll put all these songs on there, and 10-song playlist. It'll be perfect.
In chronological order of a relationship too.
Yeah, I know. we fell into that one. That was perfect.
Yeah.
I also want to say that My Sacrifice came off of the album titled Weathered. And I think that's important too.
That's very important. It's got one of the greatest early 2000s album covers of all time, with the members of the band carved into a tree.
Oh, dude,
that's one of my favorite. I mean, they went back to back. They went back to back with the Human Clay album artwork and then the Weathered album artwork. I mean, you can't. Even My Own Prison was great, with the man sitting in his cell back to the camera. I mean, you can't find a better 1, 2, 3 punch for album artwork, I think, than Creed's first 3 albums. I love that shit. That's awesome.
Oh yeah, dude. Like we talked about last, like the album covers and the titles were so important back in the day. Oh man.
Yeah.
That's good stuff.
I'm a sucker for that stuff.
Hell yeah. That's awesome.
That is fantastic.
This has been a lot of fun.
This has been. And if you're still with us, we definitely would like to take another opportunity to thank you for your support and for your attention over this last little bit of time. As we spoke about at the beginning, our Patreon program is rolling along. We have 38 individuals who are contributing on a monthly basis at this point. And if you're enjoying it, go check it out. Like we said, it's only $2 a month at the lowest level. So that's equivalent of a shitty cup of coffee. So take a seat at the Grunge Bible Diner and we'll have an order coming right up for you. Additionally, we have merchandise available. Those links are available on grungebible.com as well.
In the bio.
As well as in the bio, as well as in the description of every single podcast episode. So you don't have to go far. We're teeing it up for you. We're making it real easy. And that's what we do around these parts. And our job is made quite easy by our producer, Drew McFadden. And we would like to take some time to thank him today. He's been with us for all 49 episodes, all extraneous releases, and he's crushing the game. and we wouldn't be here without him.
He's doing an amazing job. And if you guys want to hear a little bit more about him, we have an exclusive podcast on the Patreon. So if you sign up, you get to hear me, Chris, and Drew kind of shoot the shit for a while. And there's going to be more.
It's like 2 hours. Is great.
Yeah, there's going to be more content just like that coming in the Patreon. So more podcasts there. And and then in 3 weeks, or is it 3 weeks away, 4 weeks away,
Yeah,
we're going to move our release date to Monday. So keep that on the radar because that's important. Maybe it's not. Maybe it'll download no matter what for you guys, so you'll be ready.
We're going to go into the flood on Monday with the podcast release, and we're excited for that. So that'll be coming down the chute as well. But Ethan, this was a great way to spend the last 45 minutes, and I think before we close off, we have some songs of the week to share with the people.
Absolutely do. Do you want to go first, or should I? I'm going to take a look at my recently.
Yeah,
I always do this.
I'll go first. And we had a discussion about this band right before we logged on to record this. It is not Goose. The Goose. I don't know. Maybe the Goose streak will continue. It's up to you, Ethan, if you want.
The Goose is loose. I'm not ready to commit to a song yet for its first one, but I am. I'm going to plug them, of course.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, go listen to Goose. Apparently, Ethan has been enthralled with them for the last 2 months. And I've made my way. I think there's one of their songs that's on a playlist of mine. I think it's Born.
Nice. Yeah,
I've been getting down to it a little bit, but my song of the week is actually it is another entry from the Modest Mouse, and I've definitely. I don't know. It's funny. Whenever I'm in not the best of moods, I always find my way to Modest Mouse, and we spoke about this before we hopped on. Their music just has a way of transporting you to a very unique area that I don't get to from a lot of other bands, particularly their earliest stuff. But the song of the week that I have this week is Mice Eat Cheese by Modest Mouse. And
nice.
It's a little bit of a short song, but it's definitely a downer. It hit the spot this weekend, like I said, when I was not having the best of times. And yeah, it's just great. It's on par with all of their other mellow stuff, like Make Everyone Happy, Mechanical Birds, or Talking Shit About a Pretty Sunset, or Their Lives. I mean, it's right in that vein, and it's a creative space, and it's a mood that I appreciate. And like I said, I think it's important that when you're feeling that way, you spend some time there and learn about yourself in those areas. And Modest Mouse certainly helps me to do that. So that is my song of the week. I think that's got to be Isaac Brock's like 6th entry on song of the week here.
I know.
He's definitely at the top of the leaderboard.
I know. I was really gonna say, soon this is just gonna be a big all
just all Modest Mouse, Isaac Brock.
I'm proud. I'm really proud of you. You're pulling from like every album,
all the eras of the Mouse.
The deep cuts are coming out. I mean, you're doing an excellent job.
It's great because Isaac Brock is one of those lyricists that I don't know what it means, but I know it's impactful. So this song, Mice eat cheese, and for the most part, they do as they please. But cat comes home, mice don't feel very free to walk around.
Yeah.
I don't know what that means. I don't know why it affected me, but it did. It's great. It's great stuff.
It's so good. I'm definitely going to listen to that after this.
Oh, yeah. Be careful.
Yeah, I will. I know. It's always, you never know.
Never know.
So for my song, I have a few different options. I was kind of bumping around. I had a lot of high energy stuff.
Yeah, I bounced around too. That was my third choice. I had 2 others that I scratched before we recorded.
What were the what were the bands? You don't need to say the actual the song, but just the bands.
I had a song by our friend and esteemed musician June Swoon.
Nice.
I really appreciate her music. And additionally, I had a song from a band from Massachusetts that was kind of like a punk indie emo band. I don't know if they're still active, but they were called The Hotelier. But maybe we'll share some more. Maybe they'll make the cut for next week's song of the week. But Mice Eat Cheese is carrying the torch for me this week.
That's awesome. My song I'm gonna go with is called "Social Drinker" by Ballyhoo.
Okay.
Ballyhoo. And
Ballyhoo.
Yeah, and it's a reggae ska, and just has really fun lyrics. It's like, because I'm tired of beer and liquor. Everybody knows I'm a social drinker, and like about staying up too late, waking up with a headache, and it's just like it's just one of those feel good like summer songs. And the weather has been a little warmer, and so I've been kind of listening to exactly that. I've been listening to some reggae rap, and this song is just really catchy. And I haven't listened to a ton of Ballyhoo. I know a decent, like, a few songs, like a few to play them and stuff. But this song really did it for me over this past 2 weeks. So Social Drinker by Ballyhoo. I think it's because I think we all can identify with that, being a social drinker. Yeah. And it says the first line is, 6 a.m, I ain't never gonna drink again. And
this reminds me of that song "Drugs" that you had as your song of the week, right? Yeah, it's a similar creative area that it came from.
Yep, drugs, not hot ones, just ones that take my mind off. Yeah, or change my mind up. Yeah, so those are two things. It's just, what's the lyric from Camp? I'm not a junkie. I just get high from time to time.
Yeah, there's another lyric from Sublime that's funky, not a junkie, but I know where to get it. Off of shoot, I'm forgetting the song, but that's a Sublime lyric. So,
yeah, it's a lot like that. Yeah. So that wraps up episode 49 of the Grunge Bible Podcast. And Chris, this was a good one.
This was a good one. I enjoyed my time here. This was I was looking forward to doing this, and it did not disappoint. So hopefully for all who are out there listening, I hope this episode did not disappoint.
Hopefully you're thinking the same exact thing.
Parallel trains.
All right. Well, until next time, everybody out there, rock and roll, stay safe, stay heavy, and we'll see y'all next week.
Take it easy, everybody. Take care.
Peace. And then so we paid Drew for these 5.
Yep.
I saw that.
Yeah, we're all clear. Yep.
And he's
a clean slate.
Yeah, perfect.
Yep. So we have before we start,
if he hates it, he can
he's gonna kill us.
He can kill us to shut the fuck up, Drew.
So we have before we get into this, we have 2 new $2, and then we have 2 new $10. So they heard us. They heard we were pissed. We were pissy with them last week.
Maybe we should just act like we didn't see any and be like, another fucking week with no patrons. Like, what the fuck, guys? If you guys hate us, just fucking kill us.
Just shut the fuck up.
Oh, that's great. Perfect. So, yeah, dude, Nikki 6. That's funny.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, and
I
we
love
have Nikki
that.
6, and then I don't want to share it. I'll save it for the other one. I think I already told you though. But all right, you ready?